Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with yet another video of the AZ Sports Fan. Thank you so very much for coming back, guys. I really do appreciate it. Now, in this video, I wanted to talk about none other than Deandre Hopkins, the man that pretty much took over the game against the San Francisco 49ers and was probably the biggest reason as to why we won that game 24-20. Arizona Cardinals has been long overdue to finally get a #1 wide receiver, and man, now that we got one, our offense is going to take off. Let's go ahead and dive into it here shortly, guys. Go ahead and roll that intro. Welcome back, guys. Now, like I mentioned in the intro, what I wanted to talk about today was Deandre Hopkins and how magnificent of a game he had yesterday against the San Francisco 49ers, who, in my opinion, took over the game along with Kyler Murray. I know Kyler Murray had a huge rushing game, so kudos to Kyler Murray, but I wanted to focus specifically on Deandre Hopkins and how deadly and how different our offense is going to look now that we have a #1 wide receiver of the future, at least until the next 5 years. Now, Deandre Hopkins is an amazing talent. You could even throw a ball in his realm, in his area, and he's gonna catch it. This guy has some huge hands, and he's just an overall baller. Every single time he has the ball in his hand, he's looking into getting more and more yards. He's not one of those wide receivers that kind of just gets contact and falls over. Nah. Deandre Hopkins is looking for physicality, and this type of wide receiver is long overdue for the Arizona Cardinals to finally get. Now, looking at the stat lines, it's amazing to see the difference between the production in Deandre Hopkins compared to the Larry Fitzgerald, to the Christian Kirks of our team. Now, looking at the stats, Deandre Hopkins had 14 receptions. I think he was targeted, I believe it was 16 times from Kyler Murray. He had an outstanding game of 151 receiving yards. I really wanted him to get that touchdown, the one he pretty much just stretched over for. That would have been amazing if he ended up getting it, but unfortunately his knee was down just before he reached over and it got pulled back, and Kenyon Drake ended up getting that touchdown. But nevertheless, I still think he had an amazing game for the Arizona Cardinals. Next wide receiver that, got receptions was Larry Fitzgerald, who had 4 receptions and 34 yards. Now, being the age of Larry Fitzgerald, I still think he's necessary as far as being out there, especially because he had one play where we were in dire need to get a field goal, that 56-yard field goal that Zane Gonzalez ended up knocking in. He grabbed the ball from Deandre Hopkins, gave it to the referee, and he put us in a position to spike the ball real quick with I believe 4 to 3 seconds left, and Zane Gonzalez was able to kick that ball and giving us a 10 points going into the half. So Larry Fitzgerald, although the production isn't there, he's still doing some really good stuff, really good leadership, so I'm really happy to get him. After that was Dan Arnold. He had 2 receptions with 21 yards, and then after that, Christian Kirk. He had 1 reception with 0 yards. This is crazy to me. The amount of the productivity from the first wide receiver to the second wide receiver. All I need to say right now is the way Cliff Kingsbury's offense is going right now, especially in the second half of the game, we really took off, and it was really important and really dire for Deandre Hopkins to get us going. Now that we've got this establishment for Deandre Hopkins being that #1 guy, this offense is going to be deadly. Let me tell you that right now. Deandre Hopkins is probably my favorite wide receiver and probably the best wide receiver in all of the NFL. Now, you can debate it's either going to be Julio Jones. Some might say Deandre Hopkins. Some might even say, Michael Thomas out there. So it's really just up for debate on who you really think it's going to be. But other than that, our offense is the sky's the limit at this point. As well as Kyler Murray, now he's able to use his legs. He feels a lot more comfortability with, using the run game. Just amazing plays. And I really do think that once Deandre Hopkins and Kyler Murray took over the game, I don't think that there was anything that the San Francisco 49ers could do at that point. They just didn't have an answer for Kyler Murray running out of the pocket. He's just super speedy, super shifty. And if it wasn't him, it was Deandre Hopkins just pretty much bullying the cornerbacks and taking the ball that was rightfully thrown to him, basically taking in his possession and still trying to fight for every single yard that's available out there for him. I could honestly say right now, if we didn't have Deandre Hopkins, I could probably say we probably could have have lost that game against the San Francisco 49ers. It probably could have been somewhere along the realm of maybe 10 to 20, maybe even, 17 to 20, something like that. But just the effort of having him on our team just gives us that much more motivation and that much more of a dynamicness to this offense. All I need to say is Christian Kirk needs to be more involved. Now, I know it's really up to Christian Kirk to get that separation from the cornerback, and I don't think Kyler Murray is seeing it as of right now, but Christian Kirk needs to show up this next coming game against the Washington football team. I think it's apparent and needs to happen. DeAndre Hopkins is not always going to have 14 receptions, 151 yards. He can't keep bailing us out. Now, he's always going to be that reliable guy out there for Kyler Murray to throw the ball to, which I love it, fantastic, but we need to make sure that Christian Kirk gets involved more. So if there's one thing I can take away as far as a big con going into the second week, we need to make sure that Christian Kirk is fully aware that now that we have DeAndre Hopkins getting doubled, most likely that's what's going to happen from here on out. We have to have him show up, get the separation, get the physicality down, because we need him to show up. And of course, we have Larry Fitzgerald as far as being old, reliable, the veteran guy that we need in the slot, getting those tough, gritty yards, that 3rd and 7, that 3rd and 6, that 3rd and 5th that we need to convert. That's what we have Larry Fitzgerald there for. But Christian Kirk, please, if I can give you one advice, this is your opportunity, man. This is your opportunity to shine. We need you as a wide receiver number 2, especially if you're opposite side of DeAndre Hopkins. It just gives you that much more of an opportunity. Give one big shout out to the Texans organization, preferably to Bill O'Brien for making this trade for the Cardinals. I don't think we could have had this hype. I don't think that we could have gotten this much of a great game without him as a player. So kudos to you. Thank you so much for the trade. We'll take good care of him here on our end. That's all I got for this episode, guys. Thank you so very much for watching, and I am out. Thank you so much.